Hey, good evening. Week 7 of the NFL season, and welcome to the Line of Scrimmage, the DFS Cash Game Show with the scholar, John Hanson, John Laub, and myself, Emil Kadlec. I almost had it right. How's it going, John?
It's going well, and we have some news for our viewers tonight. DraftKings had to change the parameters of their main slate. What happened in the NFL, the Raiders game at Buccaneers was originally scheduled as the NBC Sunday night contest. However, when there was the COVID outbreak, what NBC and the NFL did was they moved the Raiders to 4 o'clock and Seattle and Arizona to 8 o'clock because they felt more confident that the Arizona-Seattle game would kick off. So if they had to cancel the Las Vegas Raiders and Tampa Bay Bucks, it wouldn't have affected the primetime game. However, that changed the schedule, but DraftKings did something that I have not seen in my 4 years here doing the shows and the sheet of knowledge. The 8 o'clock game is now included in the main slate.
Oh.
So you have now, it's going to be a long day from 1 o'clock to 11:30 probably on the East Coast. Because not only is the Raiders and Patriots game included, but they kept the Seattle and the Arizona game on the main slate for cash games. So this main slate that we're going to talk about tonight includes the Bucks at the Raiders as well as the Seahawks at the Cardinals. So it's going to be a long day, everyone. Just make sure you understand, and my sheet of knowledge reflects that we have a long day, and I've never seen that. Usually the main slate is the 1 o'clock kickoffs and the 4:30 kickoffs.
That's incredible. All right, let's get to the first slide.
All right, each week, Emil and I are here, and we are trying to help you find value with the Scholars DFS Sleep. At the quarterback position, I'm trying to give you players under $6,000 who I believe can have a very productive week. And this week, the player I like most under $6,000 is by far Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow has already played the Browns. And unbelievable, at the time he played the Browns earlier in the season, he was $5,900, Emil. He's actually cheaper now at $5,500. I went back because I remembered that was a shockingly high-scoring game. Cleveland and Cincinnati in Cleveland was a 35-30 Browns victory. And Joe Burrow had 316 yards and 3 touchdowns passing. So I wanted to look more at Joe Burrow's numbers over the season. In 6 games, Emil, 3 times he has exceeded 20 points scored on DraftKings. So you have a 50-50 shot so far of Joe Burrow going over 20 points. In 1 game against Jacksonville, he had 19 points. So we're looking at 4 out of 6 games Joe Burrow has scored more than 19 DraftKings points. 1 game he was a dud against Baltimore, but that's not that unexpected. On the road, rookie quarterback in Baltimore, we kind of expected it. He was a $6,000 price tag. He was only a contrarian play that week. Then even in the opening game against the Los Angeles Chargers, he had 17.3 DraftKings points. And in that game, he was more expensive than he is now. He was $5,800. Now he's only $5,500. If you are looking to some of these high-end receivers, and there are great running backs also, if you want to take a shot and you want to go with Joe Burrow, I highly recommend it. I project him at 21 points in this game against Cleveland. Cleveland's going to put points on the board against Cincinnati's defense. What will that do? That'll force the Bengals to play catch-up. They also don't have their stud running back in Joe Mixon. Giovanni Bernard is starting in his place. But I think that will make the Bengals throw the ball more often. I also like Joe Burrow because he has sneaking rushing upside. This year he has scored, he has scored 1 rushing touchdown. But he has that potential always. 2 rushing touchdowns. I'm sorry. I thought he has 2 rushing touchdowns, and we saw his rushing ability at LSU, and he's a very highly athletic quarterback. So I like his ability to give you a nice, 3 to 4 points minimum with his legs. So Joe Burrow is my DFS sleeper this week at the quarterback position. At running back, Emil, it obviously is going to depend on the health of Aaron Jones. I'm taking a little bit of a leap of faith here. When the Packers had Davante Adams, when he was hurt earlier in the year, remember Davante Adams tweeted that he was ready to come back onto the field. And then also he took that tweet down, and the Packers did not play Davante Adams that week. The Packers tend to be a little bit conservative with their players who are injured. They're looking at the long-term goal. I do not believe Aaron Jones did not play on Friday. I don't think he's going to play. So I have 2 lineups ready, one with Aaron Jones and the other with Jamal Adams. But I believe that there's a 75% chance that Aaron Jones does not play this week. So I'm pretty confident that Jamal Williams is going to play against the Texans. He is bare minimum price for a running back, Emil. Bare minimum.
The good thing that's happening this week is obviously it's an early game. So if you go to Football Diehards or anywhere else, you can find out whether Jones is going to play or not, and you can make your change in your lineups.
Absolutely. I love the fact it's an early game. That's awesome. You don't have to kind of take that big risk at the 4 o'clock game. I've looked at some numbers here. Even with Aaron Jones on the field in week 4, Jamal Adams had a high of 18.5 points. Well, even as a backup, he's had games of 8.2, 8.3, 18.5. Now, he's had some duds, 3.4 and 2.7. That's why he's so bare minimum. $4,000. You can't get a running back who is cheaper than he is right now. Wow. And I wanted to go back because we know that the Texans over the last month are the second kindest defense to opposing running backs. They are giving up 33.6 points per game to the running back position. Last week, we just saw Derrick Henry absolutely bludgeon them for 212 yards and 2 touchdowns. So I went back a little further. Dalvin Cook, he rushed for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Texans. I went to the Pittsburgh game. James Conner, 109 yards rushing and a touchdown against the Houston Texans. We had the eye-opening game of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 138 yards and a touchdown. I think our listeners are understanding there is a trend here. The Houston Texans cannot stop the running game. I also then wanted to look back at Jamal Williams. Emil, Jamal Williams has had opportunities in the NFL. So I went back in 2019. There are games where Jamal Williams has been very good when he gets fed. Against Detroit last year, 14 carries, 104 yards, 4 receptions, 32 yards, and a touchdown. In 2019, he had 39 receptions on 45 targets with 5 receiving touchdowns. He's a very underrated pass catcher, and this is on a team with Aaron Jones, who was a stud last year. He also had 460 yards rushing last year. Then I even went back to 2018. If you remember, late in the year, there was back-to-back games against Chicago and the Jets. Jamal Williams was the main back against Chicago. 55 yards rushing on 12 carries and a touchdown. He also had 4 receptions for 42 yards. Against the Jets in that overtime classic, if you remember that game, 95 yards rushing, a touchdown, 6 receptions, and 61 yards receiving. Jamal Williams is not a star, Emil, but when given the chance, Jamal Williams has proven to be a very productive running back. He is one of the best backup runners in the NFL. Why I like him, he's productive at the goal line, but more importantly, he's a very underrated pass catcher. I believe Jamal Williams will play. Stay tuned. Go to footballdiehards.com in the morning. We'll know around 11:30 if Aaron Jones is active or not. But I have a lineup right there with Jamal Williams on it in my sheet of knowledge. Obviously, if I find out Aaron Jones is in, I change my lineup around 11:30, quarter to 12. But I believe Williams is going to play in this game. I like him a ton. My other cash-saving wide receiver, Emil, he's the last man standing. Michael Thomas. Who knows what's going on with Michael Thomas? This is one of the strangest things that I've seen in a long time.
Definitely.
Emmanuel Sanders, COVID, he's out. Tre'Quan Smith is the player I want at $4,000 right now at wide receiver in the Saints passing game. I understand he's wildly inconsistent. In the last 4 games, he's had 2.8, 21.4, 8.2, 13.6 points on DraftKings. But this is shocking, Emil. His salaries, $5,000, $5,000, $4,000, $4,900. He's now $4,000. That is unbelievable price. Who should lead the Saints in targets? And when we look back, Tre'Quan Smith can bust out some very big productive games. Last year, late in the season against Carolina, 5 receptions, 56 yards, and a touchdown. But then we go back to his rookie year in 2018. 2 unbelievable games. Washington, 3 receptions, 111 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Against Philadelphia, 10 receptions, 157 yards, and a touchdown. His quarterback is still Drew Brees. But the main wide receiver here, I believe, should and will be Tre'Quan Smith. For $4,000, he saves you a lot of salary to pay for the high up-end wide receivers. Those are my DFS sleepers for salary cap tomorrow. Joe Burrow, Jamal Williams, and Tre'Quan Smith.
Yeah, and on Tre'Quan Smith, it may just be that DraftKings was assuming that Michael Thomas was going to be back, because it kind of looked like that, before the week started, and hence that's maybe why they gave him a $4,000.
Absolutely.
It's very possible. All right, the next slide, here we come.
Every week we give you the Fantastic Four to build your cash game lineup. And Emil, in the 7 weeks that I've been working and we've been producing this show, I have never had an easier cash game lineup. So I don't know if that's going to be a jinx or not. I sure hope not. But this cash game lineup this week, the Fantastic Four, came together very easily for me. It kind of just stood out. It was obvious. I mentioned the Seattle-Arizona game. I've been targeting that game all week. When I heard that they flipped the game with Las Vegas and Tampa Bay, I was concerned that DraftKings was going to take it off the slate, but they left it on. Immediately, I'm looking at that game in my Fantastic Four. The quarterback position. It came down to Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray. I chose Kyler Murray. He is $900 less than Russell Wilson. That is significant cash savings in your salary cap. Also, he is home. I tend to like home underdogs, so I feel pretty good here. What's also amazing, and Russell Wilson's having a great year, Emil. Russell Wilson's averaging basically 32 points a game on DraftKings. Kyler Murray is averaging 28. It's not a huge difference. What I love about Kyler Murray, he is wildly consistent with a huge floor. Check out these numbers. 28.9, 30.3, 24.1, 24.7, 33.1, 27.3 DraftKings points. He has been so consistent. Why is he consistent? It is his rushing. Emil, I couldn't believe these numbers after 6 weeks. He has 370 yards rushing and 6 touchdowns. He has been productive throwing the ball, 10 touchdowns for over 1,400 yards. Now, he makes some mistakes. He has 6 interceptions. But the second-year quarterback, he's throwing the ball with more chutzpah this year, trying to fit it into tighter windows. He's making some mistakes, but I'm okay with that. But when you give me that consistency with an over-under, I think it's 56 points, I'm going with Kyler Murray. I immediately said to myself, I need a player on the opposite side of the field. I believe this is a shootout. I'm going to DK Metcalf. You and I have been talking about him all summer. We rode him early in our Fantastic Four. I've had great success with him. I'm going back. I do not think the Cardinals have the defensive backs who can physically deal with DK Metcalf. They spread the ball around in Seattle, but Metcalf, here is consistency, Emil. 19.5, 19.2, 23, 17, 27. I love that consistency in cash games. I know you're paying a lot for Kyler Murray and DK Metcalf. I know it's kind of weird, but I want to have the hammer. I want to have some investment in this game that's going to be the difference in your success on Sunday in these large cash game tournaments. So I like having 2 pieces. You can even go 3, but for the Fantastic Four purposes, I'm going to give you 2 of them, Kyler Murray and DK Metcalf. And then Kareem Hunt. I just love this matchup for Kareem Hunt. Cleveland's going on the road. They're playing Cincinnati. Cincinnati is not very good against the run. You know Cleveland, they lost the football game last week. Pittsburgh absolutely destroyed them. They blew up that offensive line. Cincinnati does not have the front 7 of the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know that all week, Stefanski and that coaching staff, they went into the drawing board to get some running plays here that can dominate. I like Kareem Hunt a ton. He's their goal line back. He's their main back. He's their pass-catching back. I like Kareem Hunt. He has a very nice floor. Now, Pittsburgh is exceptional. He scored only 7.7 points. But if you look before that, 18.3, 19.1, 14.4, 12.1. I like Kareem Hunt here. Cleveland's going to run the football. I think Cleveland knows that Baker Mayfield is an average quarterback, that they're not going to win with Baker Mayfield throwing the ball all over the place. So I think they're going to give Kareem Hunt a heavy dose here. I think he gets at least 22 touches between running the football and catching the football. I love Kareem Hunt here for 6,800. Obviously, on the Fantastic Four, I needed to save you some money. We have to find a salary cap saver. I like Deontay Johnson a lot. I know people are going to be scared away from him. I understand Chase Claypool has been so good. And I had Chase Claypool in our summa cum laude lineup last week, and he came through again. But Deontay Johnson got hurt and left the game early, which opened up the door for Chase Claypool. I think Deontay Johnson's going under the radar here in a big matchup against the Titans. The Titans are not a great team on defense. You would think they are, but Emil, I looked at it, in the last month, and the Titans didn't play a game. So that's 3 games. They are surrendering 51.7 points per game to opposing wide receivers. Let me repeat that. 51.7 points a game to opposing wide receivers, the Tennessee Titans. Opposing wide receivers have 55 receptions for 659 yards and 6 touchdowns. From what I've read on footballdiehards.com and other injury reports, it looks like Deontay Johnson should be fine. He's been practicing with the team. I think he's here. He should be peppered with targets. And if you go back into the game log, in week 2 against Denver, he had 13 targets when he was healthy. Week 1 against the New York Giants, he had 10 targets when healthy. I believe that Deontay Johnson's in a very good matchup here against Tennessee, and he's going to be peppered with targets. Emil, that's my Fantastic Four for the Sunday. Kyler Murray, Kareem Hunt, DK Metcalf, and Deontay Johnson.
Yeah, those are some good ones. Deontay should be a quite interesting one. Hopefully he's healthy. Also, Kareem's been, he's not 100% too, so hopefully he can do well this week. He's definitely got an opportunity. All right, next slide. Here we come.
All right, my friends, if you want more DFS advice, Football Diehards has you covered. Go there right now. We have the DFS 3 and Out by Hall of Famer Bob Harris. Every week he gives you 3 DFS starters that he likes and 1 that he's going to pass on. If you're looking for wide receiver cornerback matchups, Gary Davenport delivers with the shadow nose. If you're looking for more DFS sleepers, undervalued players who can give you salary cap savings, Justin Lanero gives you DFS, digging in the crates daily. My Scholars DFS sheet of knowledge is up there. I give you top shelf investments, value plays, fading plays. I give you quarterback, wide receiver duos to put into your lineups. And I give you the Summa and Magna Cum Laude lineups. And then we have Kyle Dvorak with the DFS cash game and tournament breakdown. They're all available on footballdiehards.com. We also have an incredible optimizer. You can put in players that we're discussing tonight and then have the optimizer pick the rest of your lineup. It's all there for you on footballdiehards.com.
Fantastic. All right, the next slide.
As we always do, Emil, we are giving you a contrarian GPP. I believe, obviously, the vast majority of fantasy football DFS players this week, tons are going to be in Seattle, and they're going to be in that Arizona game. They are going to be obviously invested in games like Atlanta and Detroit, Green Bay and Houston. Mm-hmm. Those are the big 3. There's going to be heavy investment in those games. So I decided, where can I get a contrarian stack? And I looked, and we got lucky that the NFL moved the Buccaneers and Raiders to 4 o'clock. The over-under is 52, and the Raiders are home underdogs at +4. I said to myself, people are going to be on Tom Brady. He's Tom Brady. So I'm going to pivot away. And I said, let me look closer at Derek Carr, Emil. Surprisingly, no one's talking about Derek Carr, but I got to give John Gruden credit. He has Derek Carr playing at an incredibly high and efficient level of quarterback. Derek Carr is completing 73% of his passes, Emil. 73! That is unbelievable.
Incredible.
It's incredible. He is averaging 288 yards per game. Let me repeat that. 288 yards per game. Excuse me. And Emil, I love this stat for college football prospects. Derek Carr has 11-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. Let me repeat that. 11-to-1. Derek Carr is efficient, he's productive, and he's been playing great football, and no one is talking about it. Look at consistency here, Emil. 28 DraftKings points last week against the Chiefs. 24.4 against the Bills. Against New England on the road, 17.5.
Wow.
New Orleans, 22.6 in his last 4 games. He's a home underdog with a high over-under, playing great football. I like Derek Carr. He's $5,400. He's one of the lowest priced starters on DraftKings on this slate.
Wow.
Absolutely love him. And Emil, what's his ownership level?
2%.
Oh, my God, that's a dream come true. You're getting a quarterback who has 25-point upside at 2% ownership. And also, Emil,
yes,
the reason I didn't take Josh Jacobs, the Buccaneers are unbelievable against the run.
Mm-hmm.
We know the Buccaneers front seven with Todd Bowles, they already only given up 16 points per game in the last month to opposing running backs. So what does that tell me? John Gruden knows the same statistics that I do. He's watched the same film that I have watched, and he's a lot smarter than me. What do you do? You know Todd Bowles is going to blitz rushing lanes. Todd Bowles is going to blitz his linebackers, blitz his safeties. He's going to attack you. Well, what do? You get the ball out of Derek Carr's hand and you throw screens, you throw short passes. And you know what? The Raiders have one of the great short and productive pass catchers, Henry Ruggs. This is a perfect game for Henry Ruggs. If the Raiders, and I know they're going to make this call, they're going to read blitz by Todd Bowles. And Derek Carr is going to have an audible for a quick screen for Henry Ruggs. And I've seen him do this at Alabama all the time. If Henry Ruggs can get through on the blitz, that first level defense, the first tackler, if the Raiders block it up, Henry Ruggs will take a 60-yarder to the house. Last week against Kansas City, we saw him get behind the defense. He had 22.8 DraftKings points, 118 yards receiving on 2 catches and a touchdown. He's basically dirt cheap, $4,800. This is a perfect made game. Todd Bowles is smart. He's also an aggressive defensive coordinator. This chess match between John Gruden and Todd Bowles is one of the most interesting chess matches on the slate. Todd Bowles is great, but John Gruden's very good, and he has a smart quarterback playing good football right now. I'm going to go with Derek Carr and Henry Ruggs, and I'm hoping that Henry Ruggs can bust another one over 60 yards. This is a tailor-made game for him, but they've got to call the audible to get him in that one-on-one situation. Love it. So if I wasn't going Josh Jacobs, I said, well, I need a running back. I'm going to go Ronald Jones here. Oh, Emil, what's the percentage of Ruggs according to us? What do we have for ownership there? I didn't even think of asking.
2%.
Love it for GPP.
Yeah, that's low.
Then we got Ronald Jones. Emil, I was wrong. I don't have Ronald Jones in my season-long leagues, but this is DFS, and I'm open-minded. And all I know is Ronald Jones is playing good football. Last 3 games on DraftKings, 29.1, 18.5, and 21.8 DraftKings points. The Raiders, over the last month, are the 5th kindest defense against opposing running backs. They are giving up 29.9 points in PPR scoring.
Whoa.
They've surrendered 4 touchdowns, 18 receptions, and 309 yards rushing. I'm going with the hot hand, and I understand that Leonard Fournette is likely to play. But I believe that Ronald Jones has earned the faith of Bruce Arians and, more importantly, Tom Brady. And every time I watch Ronald Jones, Emil, he never ran like this at USC. He did not run like this his first 2 years at Tampa Bay. He is running with passion, power, and violence. He is lowering his shoulder. He's running between the tackles. He's hurting people. I like the way Ronald Jones is playing football. He's 6,200. I'm going with him. And Emil, can we have a all-point bulletin for Chris Godwin? Between injury and non-production, 911. Will someone please call? Will someone please find Chris Godwin? You know what? This is the week. We're in 7. We waited for Chris Godwin patiently. He's only played 3 games. 13.9, 17.4, and 9.8 points. Emil, Chris Godwin is due. This is a big over-under, 52 points. The Raiders can be beaten on the back end. Tom Brady, while I'm not, he's lost arm strength. He's still throwing the football. Godwin is due for your big day. 7 receptions, 110 yards, and a touchdown. I like Godwin here, so I'm going to go Jones and Godwin. The 5th pick, I always like 5 players in the GPP. Gronk looked all right last week. O.J. Howard is out. Gronk scored 18.8 points. He's only 4,600. Brady was looking for him, and maybe Gronk's gotten a little bit into football shape. I still think there's value here. We are looking for about 14 points for 3 times salary. If somehow he can hit his 18.8 or above again, and we're looking at GPP contrarian stack, we're looking tight end to at least score 15 points or more. I'll take Gronk here. So this week, if you want to go away from the herd, go Buccaneers at Raiders. Put it into our optimizer. Tell our optimizer, lock in these 5 players. Let the optimizer pick the other 4 players. And here's what's fascinating. Emil, this is one of the lowest GPP salary stacks we've given all year.
Wow. It's
only $27,400, and you still have $5,650 per player, and one of those is a defense, which we know you can pay down on defense. So you still have enough salary here in our optimizer to pay for a high-level running back and a high-end wide receiver. That's my contrarian stack this week, Emil. What do you think, my friend?
I love it. Looks great. I can't wait to throw that in some lineups here. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Oh, do you have the...
Go ahead.
I should ask, do you have the numbers, ownership for Godwin, Gronk, and Jones?
Yeah, Godwin is 7%.
That's okay. Not great, but that's okay.
Jones is 7%.
That's good. That's good. I like it.
And Gronk is 4.
Ooh. That's if Derek Derek Carr was 2, right? What was Derek Carr on the list there?
2%.
I like those numbers.
Yeah,
those are
make
pretty
a lot
good.
Of sense. Definitely a fun contrarian stack. Okay, I got a couple quick questions for you. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, you could still dip into that Seattle game. Chris Carson sitting out there if you want contrarian. I'm giving you a little hint, everyone. Go for the Seattle running back. And you know what's amazing? Kenyon Drake is cheaper than Chase Edmonds. If you want to go away from the herd, go Chris Carson and Kenyon Drake. Because everyone's going to be buying Wilson, Metcalf, Lockett, Murray, DeAndre Hopkins. How about a little Kenyon Drake and Chris Carson? So you're going. I mean, that's how you win something like this.
Sure.
Chris Carson could have 2 or 3 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. He could have a receiving touchdown, and he could have 1 or 2 rushing touchdowns. I mean, this is NFL. Anything can happen. If you want a contrarian stack, that's the way you got to do it. I shouldn't say anyone could win anything. I doubt you're going to win with Kyler Murray, DK Metcalf, DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk. So many people are going to have those.
Yeah.
You have to try to get away from that.
I definitely like the Derek Carr move. I think that's a great move, and Ruggs is a very curious guy. These are all very interesting ideas you've come up with. And I had a couple quick questions.
Sure.
Jamison Crowder for the Jets is doubtful now. He's doubtful for the game on Sunday. And I know it's the Jets and all, but he has been a very productive receiver. And Bashard Perryman is back. And you've got that Jeff Smith. And anyway, you got Denzel Mims is activated. Is there any of those guys that you would consider in either cash or GPP?
Emil, I have a very simple rule, and I made this mistake early. I was playing Jets like Chris Herndon, who I thought was undervalued. And I'll admit that Jamison Crowder's been good. Okay, so I'll admit that. But he's the only one. At this point, I'm not playing a Jet. I don't care. They just got shut out by the Dolphins, and they were terrible the week before. Now, if Rashard Perryman and those guys and Denzel Mims goes off with Sam Bradford, power to you, Adam Gase. But I'm not putting any money on Adam Gase and the Jets right now.
Now, another interesting one is Buffalo had like everybody but one of their tight ends go on the COVID. So you got Tyler Kroft is pretty much the only tight end. There's probably other ones, but he's got a situation. Of course, the last week, Buffalo had a horrible game, and he only got 2 targets and 1 catch. But he's kind of the only tight end on that team this weekend. What do you think?
You know, I actually started him in the Scott Fish Bowl because I had injuries at tight end. So, I didn't turn out. But let me see how much he is. I don't even know what Tyler Kroft is. KROFT.
I didn't have that open myself.
3,100. You see, so to me, if Tyler Kroft was at the bare minimum 2,500, I would probably consider it as a punt play.
Okay.
But when I actually have to pay 3,100, I'm not willing to take that punt play. Now, there was one game where he was good, against the Rams. He had 18.4 points.
He did go off.
But, that came out. This is crazy, right? Against the Jets in Miami, first 2 games of the year, 0 points, not even a target.
Yeah.
Then he comes out against the Rams and he scores 18.4. And since then he's had 2. You just never know. But I can't do it for 3,100. No.
Okay. Well, those are interesting things, and you take advantage of those situations. Like last week with Tim Patrick did well, and
did great.
Burton for Indianapolis had a great game. So, you want to try and
Yeah,
look at those
right.
things. You don't always want to pull the trigger, but you have to, you want to take advantage of situations that change late in the week. Well, fantastic.
Absolutely, my friend.
Great stuff. I can't wait to start putting these lineups in. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, just enjoy the games, everyone, and please go to Football Diehards. We have a great DFS lineup optimizer. Go use it. It's an awesome tool, and it'll help you build lineups. And check out all that we have to help you with all those articles we discussed. They're all there for you, my friends.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, and good luck Sunday, and good luck to all the listeners also for this week.